This is the Nacho Average Podcast, where fajitas don't sizzle, but the talks are bold!
What's up, guys? I'm Cisco Marquez.
And I'm Todd Weaver, and this is episode 2 of the Nacho Average Podcast. Can you believe we already did one?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't even know how to do a podcast, but we pulled it off, right?
We made it to number 2.
We made it to number 2. Hopefully it doesn't end with number 2, but
That's right.
if it's bad, it's stopping here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Anyways, we got to tell them a little bit about ourselves, where we're from, community, what Nacho Padres is a little bit about. But I think it's important that we highlight some of why we're doing what we're doing, right? And you kind of mentioned this in our last episode is, we want to be known for the best fajitas and some of the most tasteful margaritas with the freshest ingredients. So I think this episode, the biggest topic right now is fajitas. Right?
Yep.
They want to know about the fajitas. Why is it a certain price point? Like what type of cut is it? What are they eating? And the big elephant in the room, and for you, whoever the hell put it out there, a couple of them, why our fajitas don't sizzle, right? Because every Mexican restaurant, fajitas sizzle. So you're the back of the house, my friend. Have at it, dude.
All right. I mean, when we went down this rabbit hole of opening a Tex-Mex restaurant, the first thing we talked about was badass fajitas, and it was a process. I wanted to put something out in front of not only my business partners but as the community as well. I take pride in what we serve, no matter what we're doing, and I went down this rabbit hole, man. It was crazy. Everybody knows who the big ones in town are, and I won't mention any names, but we all know who founded it and who started it.
We can name them.
Sweet old lady.
We hope that we're close to them.
Right.
Popsitos is the bomb.
They're great, and then Mama Nympha's down on Navigation, and then that whole story of what fajitas are, and a lot of people don't know that, or maybe they do, that fajitas were just kind of discarded meat that people were paid with, and this lady down in Navigation found an amazing way to just turn this nothing into something that's just ballooned in the state of Texas, and anyone that's ever had the pleasure of coming down and enjoying fajitas in Texas, they look for it, it's sought after. So anyways, going back to that rabbit hole, there's just a lot of information and a lot to digest, and I knew that the first thing that had to happen was it had to be awesome, right? It had to be worth people's money. It had to be worth the trip to our restaurant.
What does an awesome fajita look like?
Yeah,
or what does it taste like?
So I think most people are looking for a tender, soft bite. That's number one. I think that flavor profile, there can be argument, discussion about what flavor people are looking for. Obviously, the ones that have been doing it for over 30 years, the Papacitos of the world, the Lupe Tortillas of the world, Mama Nympha's down in Navigation, all those different founders, if you will, or people that came before us. There's a lot of soy sauce, there's a lot of pineapple juice, there's a lot of different flavor profiles in there, and even tenderizer, right? And so that was important to be able to have that tender bite. But for me personally, the one thing I wanted to add to the whole equation was I wanted to get back to what beef is. I wanted people to eat beef, taste beef. And with a lot of these other recipes that are out there, you're not tasting beef forward, right? Beef is secondary. And, for a lot of people, I watch people make their own fajita tacos. You're throwing guacamole on top of that. You're throwing cheddar on top of that, different sauces and things like that.
Are you talking about the Tex side of the Mex?
Yeah, for sure, the Tex side of the Mex.
Just want to make sure you're talking about the Tex side of the Mex.
Absolutely. Even queso, which, I don't know why you're
delicious.
I don't know why you eat fajita at that point.
Cheese on everything, fool.
But no, I wanted it to be a tender, beef forward bite, and going down that rabbit hole was crazy, and it came down to the last hour, and I felt like I wanted to present something that I was proud of, and to be honest with you, I didn't have that item, and it was a Hail Mary pass, and I opened a packet of outside skirt fajita, and
where'd you get the outside skirt from?
So that outside skirt I got from Halprin's through Gordon Foods. And
Gordon Food Service.
Gordon Food Service, shout out. But no, I opened that packet, I took a bite of the meat, and I was like, before I seasoned it, and I was like, wow, there's no way that's it. It's that simple, starting off with something that was higher end, but it was almost ready to serve, right? And so do a little process, and like I said, I didn't want it to be heavily marinated. I wanted the beef to come forward, so we found this spice combination that I really liked, and we put a little olive oil on the beef, and we rubbed that spice on there, and we cooked it again, and I was like, there's no way it could be this simple. There's no way it can be this simple. Everyone's been doing it differently for so many years, and they've built an industry on it. And so as soon as I took that bite, I was like, that's it. And so we all sat around and ate some later on, and the feedback I was hoping I'd get, hoping it wasn't just me, it was there. People eyes just kind of open up, and that's one of the reasons I do what I do. I live for the moment that a partner or coworker, has that aha moment, but even beyond that, I live for that moment where the guest bites into something, and it almost changes their world, changes their expectations, and I felt like that's something that we had on the table in front of us.
I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think our fajita meat is on point.
Absolutely.
It can go against the big boys.
Absolutely.
So in some of the comments, right, and this whole podcast is kind of let people in on what we do, right? Some of the comments that I'm seeing is, most restaurants, they come out on a sizzling platter, right? They come on the same little platter. Everybody gets the same thing. Boom, it's served. There's smoke everywhere. Here, we have a cool little setup, but why no smoke, bro?
Man, that's a tough question to answer, but I'll just get right into it. Number one, every time you go to a Mexican restaurant, there's no room on the table. So we wanted a different presentation, and we found something that we thought was really cool that made it easier to kind of organize the table while you're trying to eat.
Yeah.
And it was also cool because as it came through the dining room, you could see it. And then people ask, what is that? And like I said, we wanted to be known for our fajitas. The other part of it is, cast iron absorbs heat really well. And every single Mexican restaurant, Tex-Mex restaurant, serves fajitas on a cast iron.
Yep.
And ours is similar. It's not cast iron, but it's similar. It's a metal apparatus or a metal dish. And it does retain heat, so it keeps the fajitas at temperature. But it doesn't cook them. And fajitas, for me, are best enjoyed medium rare to medium.
I'm with you on that, dude.
And I feel like when you serve it on a cast iron, the cooking process doesn't finish, until that cast iron loses all of its heat and it dissipates. And so while it's a really cool gimmick to have that sizzle, I wanted something that, again, we cared about that last bite, right? What the guest was actually going to put in their mouth. And, serving it on a skillet that's cooking it, I can't control that. And that's a big part of it for me.
So
for sure.
You think people, if they don't want their stuff medium rare, which my wife, I've had to teach her over the years, medium rare, but if she wants a medium well, can they do that here?
100%. We'll cook it up to whatever temperature you'd like. We definitely will adhere to people's requests and that kind of stuff for sure. I mean, we want people to enjoy themselves when they're here anyways. But that was kind of the thought process, and that's why we went down that avenue and decided to go that route. Because at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that bite that the guests had was consistent, and I feel like it's the best bite they'll have of fajitas.
Also, the reason why we kind of did the Tex-Mex thing is, in this area, there's not a lot of Mexican restaurants. There are a few, and they're good. But when COVID did happen, some of the stuff, some of the concepts that we have, it went straight to to-go food, right? And we weren't really prepared with going from 95% of your business is in-house and 5% was to-go, and it went from 100% to-go and nothing in the store, right? And so we thought, if for some reason the government or whatever decided to shut this thing down again, I know that I order fajitas to go a lot. I know that you do that. It's one of those go-to items. Mexican food is loved in the Houston area. Like, what could we do if stuff went wrong again? Right. And Mexican food is just the soul food of this area. I mean, it's delicious. And fajitas, is an easy way that we can cater food. It's an easy way that we can do to-go, and all that is open here, right? Yeah. We didn't start off with to-go, though, and we didn't start off with the fajitas. And why is that?
You know, that's a really good question, and any restaurateur wants to maximize their revenue for sure.
Especially after 2 years of waiting, right?
Especially after 2 years of waiting.
Yep.
And one thing that I learned in those 2 years of waiting is that we have to do it right. And
100%.
and I wanted to serve the guests that were making the trip into the four walls and spending time with us every single day inside the four walls. I wanted to give them the best experience I could.
Right.
We could have opened with to-go and we could have been gangbusters and served a mediocre product every single day, and it's just not something that's in me. Right. And I didn't think for the longevity of what we were trying to accomplish here that was the right thing to do. So we held off, and fortunately my business partners supported me in that idea. But we're ready now. You know, we're ready now. We're ready to serve the community and ready to offer to-go at a high level.
Yeah, Susie in the comments, the one that said, you're the only restaurant in the world that didn't open up with to-go. Well, there was a reason why we didn't open up to-go. Because we wanted to take care of the people inside the restaurant. So Susie, thanks a lot for your comments. But anyways, I think you want to do something behind the scenes and show them what we do with the fajitas?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go do it. All right, guys, let's get in the kitchen and let's make some food. So what we have here is some of our outside skirt. I already have a few pieces prepared for us. Nice and clean, ready to go into the marinade. This is kind of what fajita looks like before. You clean it off and take everything off of it. You can see there's some beautiful marbling in there. That's what you want to see. It's got a good fat cap layer. This is all stuff that we'll remove, but when you look at this is the good fat. This is the stuff that you want. This is the stuff that, you know, dissolves on the flat top and adds a lot of flavor. But you got to get down below some of this fat. You got to peel away. And so a lot of this is done by hand. It's not even, no knife work required for this part. Now, if it was a subpar piece of meat, it would be a different story. It would be real stuck. You see a lot of sinew, but you don't see a lot of sinew on this meat. Okay. So once you get that initial piece off, then yeah, you may require a knife to get some of that off, and then you're just going to trim some of that fat right off the edge there. Take our fajita that's nice and clean, ready to go. Put it in. We have some olive oil, and we're just going to gently get some olive oil on there. We're going to rub that olive oil into the meat ahead of time, and then we're going to do the same thing with the seasoning. Take that seasoning, and we're going to generously apply it to the outside of the skirt. So once that's in there, again, we're going to go back and we're going to massage it right into the meat. You're going to get a nice, beautiful coated piece of meat. And if you can look at it in the camera there, it's almost like a dry rub. That meat is going to sit for about an hour, and then we're going to go to the line. We're going to cook it for our guests. So let's go to the line and cook some fajitas. All right, get some fajita down on the flat top. And yes, we do cook it on a flat top.
How long do y'all cook that up?
So roughly about 3 minutes each side, give or take. We want to achieve a perfect medium rare in the middle. That's what we're looking for. It's what we're hoping for is a nice medium rare. You see this piece right here, it's getting close to getting ready to flip over. It's already releasing a lot of the oils. And what you want is a nice seal on the outside.
So is this the only point at which the fajitas sizzle?
And yes, they do sizzle. They do sizzle. There's not much to say about the veggies other than they're fresh. So we cut them every day. You have green bell peppers, red bell peppers, yellow onions. We have these beautiful jalapenos. Depending on the time of the year, they're spicier or less spicy. But they are similar to toreadas. And then just like everything else, we season everything. Here, what you're seeing on the fajitas is the olive oil that we rubbed into it. Really help create that seal and allow that Maillard effect to take place and get a nice caramelization on the beef. With fajitas, you got grains coming this way. You want to cut against the grain. Yeah, we cook our fajitas to medium rare, but we respect your opinion. If you want it cooked all the way to rubber, we'll do it too. But medium rare is the best bite, in our opinion.
So I think episode 3 is very important. Episode 3, margaritas, how we make our margaritas, what margaritas we serve, the special margaritas that we have that a lot of people don't have in this area, which are margaritas on tap, but I think we need to have a margarita in front of us while we chat.
I agree.
It's gonna loosen me and you up a little bit.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
Tex-Mex, episode 2 done?
Yeah.
All right, cheers, brother. See you on episode 3.